I want to tell you the genesis of why civics is important to me. I came from Cuba in 1961, and I have on my desk the Cuban Constitution. I keep it there to remind me, both in English and in Spanish. And I hate to tell you that it is the same Constitution, almost word for word, as the American Constitution. And I found out the hard way, because the loss of liberty in my lifetime is not a theoretical exercise. It actually happened to me, and it's something that I take along with me wherever I go, that we understood so little about what our obligations were. Everybody, as a matter of fact, I see a lot of you out here, I'm sure, have kids, and they'll all tell you about what their rights are. Everybody can tell you their rights, but very few will tell you what their obligations are. And Sandra Day O'Connor says it best than anybody, where she says that the knowledge of our democracy is not transported in the gene pool. You're not born with it. You got to learn it. And Justice Souter last year at our opening assembly challenged us to do something about the situation in this country, where 2 out of every 3 graduating high school students think that the 3 branches of government are Democrat, Republican, and Independent. That's an actual statistic. 27% of Americans do not know that the Bill of Rights protects religious freedom. 27%. And those of you who watch jaywalking, we could have our own little jaywalking program, we have seen what Americans think and know. Inability to tell you who the President of the United States is. More people know who are the judges on American Idol than know who are the judges on the Supreme Court of the United States. 50% of the people who read the Bill of Rights on the street thought it was a communist doctrine. What does this mean to our country? This is not accidental, by the way. How did we get here? Because I see a lot of folks in my generation, and I will tell you that I've learned that there are 2 generations in America. The Facebook generation and the facelift generation. And those of us in the facelift generation remember that in 9th grade we were taught civics. We had to know about the Constitution, the Bill of Rights, our history. Well, what happened is a decade or 2 ago, Americans were told that they had to concentrate on science. Our school systems had to concentrate on science and educating about math, which is important to compete on the world stage, no question about that. But when civics was no longer taught because it wasn't tested, we have a serious problem. In many high schools, it is an elective. In some high schools, it really is not even taught. So you can graduate from high school without knowing anything about your government. And that's why we are where we are today. And we are uniquely situated as a profession to do something about it. You're going to hear about that today. Many of you, and I know from my past experience in this group, that a lot of you will not go on to the House. About a third of you go on to the House as delegates. So I will tell you today what I will tell them on Monday very briefly, and that on Monday we are going to establish a Civics Commission of the American Bar Association. We will continue to work with Justice Souter and Justice O'Connor to facilitate our efforts in that regard, but we have named 2 long-standing members and highly respected members of this association to chair that commission, one of which is here today, and a former chair of the National Conference of Bar Presidents, and I'd like her to stand up and be recognized, Marna Tucker. And we are going to go into every high school in America as lawyers and teach civics. And we're going to prepare a curriculum that you'll be proud of. And we're also going to bring civics back to the workplace, to the dining room table, to the schools. we will prepare a national civics test, an American Bar national civics test, so that you can talk about these issues with your children at the dining room table, as we should. And we have programs. There's got to be an app for the Facebook generation, and there is an app on the Constitution and games we can play. And we will make it central to our daily life so that our way of life continues to be one of democracy. I thank you for your efforts in this regard. Please go back and talk to your state bar associations about forming a civics commission and about lobbying your legislators. I see members of the Florida Bar, our new president of the Florida Bar, and our executive director here will tell you that they went and lobbied the Florida legislature to make sure that civics is taught in our high schools. And on a national scale, we will try and make sure that civics is part of any national testing that goes on. Anyway, you have a wonderful program. Thank you for the opportunity to come and talk to you, and I look forward to working with you.